We welcome to our Only Fools and Horses podcast, Jay Kilbey. How's it going?
Hi, how you doing? You all right?
Yes,
You all right,
great.
Chris? You all right, Emily?
Pardon?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Hiya.
Well, Jay, just before we start getting into the podcast, just some people may not know which episode you're in. So just tell us what episode you're in and who you played, etc.
Yeah, so I played the Irate Father in the last ever episode of Only Fools and Horses, which was a Christmas special called Sleepless in Peckham. It was a scene basically where Dell sends Rodney into the wrong delivery room. And my character as the Irate Father comes chasing him out and basically kicks off, and Dell's got his coat over his face. And yeah, it was a great little scene to work on. Brilliant.
What was the line? So, like, you're a pervert or something? Did you say?
You bleeding perv.
Bleeding perv.
Yeah, that was it.
That was
Yeah.
it.
So how did the part come about then? When did you first hear about the role?
Funny thing is, it was the casting director was Tracy Gillam, and I was actually out at the time, and I got a phone call off the back of a casting that I've been up for, and I actually can't remember what that casting was particularly for, but yeah, she says to me, "Oh, congratulations! It's starting as my agent called me Sandra Griffin, who I was with back then." And she said, congratulations, you got the part. I said, okay, great. Thanks, Sandra. It's brilliant. And then about 10 minutes later, the phone's gone again. She said, right, you've also got Only Fools and Horses. I said, but I haven't been for a casting for Only Fools and Horses. She said, yeah, but it's also Tracy Gillam. And Tracy Gillam, I think back in the day, she used to put me forward for a lot of things and took a bit of a shine to me, I think, as an actor. Which was brilliant. And then so that was it. So technically I didn't even have a casting for Only Fools and Horses. I got it off the back of a casting for something else that I'd landed. So yeah,
Wow.
brilliant.
Almost right place at the right time, really, then, in a way. Yeah, right person at the right time.
Yeah.
Wow. Daft question. Were you part of the show before? I'm presuming you were. You from
No,
London?
that was my only appearance in it.
Yeah, yeah, you were a fan. You watched it, etc.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brilliant show. So talk us through it then. So did you have a time with Nick and Sir David beforehand? How did you rehearse for it? I know your line wasn't a lot of dialogue, but did you have to, have a chat with them about the scene, or how did it work?
Yeah, to be honest, I think because I had such a small amount to say, I mean, sometimes though, as an actor, that actually makes it even more difficult because you've got less to get stuck into, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I kind of had it down how I wanted to play my lines, how I thought it was going to go. And I think we just went for a quick one rehearsal, really. I literally met David and Nick on set. So I travelled down with Tessa Pete Jones to set. She was in a different scene to me, but obviously working that day. So we came down to set, and that was it. Tony Dale was in the other room watching the monitor. Okay, we're going to go for a rehearsal. So that was it. I just thought, right, I'm going to throw it out there exactly how I think I want to play it. And if he wants to change it, wants to direct me any different, then I'll go with it. We did a rehearsal. Tony's in the other room, shouts out, Jay. I'm like, yeah. He went, perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I said, okay, that was great. So literally we bagged it in a couple of takes, and that was it. Yeah.
So it's in a studio. It's not a hospital, or is it at the hospital?
No, that was actually in a real life hospital.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, that was in a real life hospital. I've got a funny story behind that if you want to hear it.
Please,
Yes,
yeah.
please.
And this is from what I remember. Obviously, this was a long time ago, but I know there's some definite truth in there. From what I remember, it was filmed in Bristol Hospital. They did a lot of their filming in Bristol, especially in the later years. So yeah, real life hospital, real delivery room. And there was, from what I remember, there was a lady actually giving birth in the room next door. And she knew that we were shooting Only Fools and Horses in the room next to her. So apparently, whilst giving birth, she was trying to keep the noise down, which was really nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was quite funny. I've never forgotten that.
Wow, impossible. Wow. And that wasn't the baby they had as Joan then. It was a different baby, was it? I presume, to the one that the woman gave birth to.
Yeah, it's a different one. Yeah, it's a different
one. So did you meet? Obviously, you met Sir David and Nick. Did you meet? You mentioned Tessa. Obviously, you met her. Did you meet Gwyneth as well?
I didn't meet Gwyneth,
No,
but I did meet Benjamin, who played Damien.
Damien.
Obviously, he was really young at the time. So when you're a young actor, you're chaperoned around. So he was being chaperoned by his mum. So we, obviously, for the time that we were around set and shooting, we shared a trailer for the day. So that was myself and Benjamin and his mum. So yeah, it was nice to actually meet him as well. And I don't know if he's still acting these days or not, but it'd be nice to actually touch base with him at some point. Having met him and spent time with him. Obviously, he wouldn't remember me now, but he was a kid back then.
Yeah, Ben Smith. Emily, he did. Ben has acted. He was a
He has,
soldier in
hasn't he?
something. Mm.
He was in a crime documentary, like I think it was called Accused.
Right.
I mean,
Yes, he's doing something, isn't he? I think he's definitely working on.
Yeah.
he was doing something because I recognised him straight away.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
he's-
yeah. He's
'cause
got a
he's gonna
particular
be-
look, isn't he? He still looks quite similar to when he was a
Mm.
kid.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hasn't
He's
changed
carried
much.
that look with him, which is good.
Yeah,
it'd
yeah,
be
you
nice
still
to meet him again.
recognise it. Definitely. Because do you remember what year it was that it was Christmas Day, wasn't it? In I think I know the year, but go on, remind us. What year was it?
2003, 2002 or 2003. I
Yeah.
always get mixed up between the two. I've got those two figures in my head.
No,
I think it
no,
was 2003, wasn't it?
yeah, well, it was. Yeah, no, I've got a theory on this. That, they had 3 episodes, didn't they? 2001, 2002, 2003. Were they all filmed in 2001? Do you happen to know, or were they filmed actually like 2001? You think yours was filmed in 2003, the year it
Yeah,
was
that's a
out?
good point. That's a good point. Yeah, because when we filmed, when we shot our one, we sorry, was I jumping in there? Sorry,
No, it's all right. Go on.
Sorry, I've got a habit of doing that. I get a bit
It's all right.
excited sometimes. Yeah, when we shot obviously ours being the third one, we were only 6 months after the first one was played. So the first one had been played in Christmas, 2001, if we've got the dates right there.
Yeah.
So halfway through the year of 2001, if we've got that right, that's when we shot ours, because I remember we had to wait a year and a half. I had to wait a year and a half to see if I was going to make the final cut, basically.
Yeah.
So 6 months' time, I was going to see the second one. And then a year after that, I was going to see if I was actually going to end up in it or end up on the cutting floor. So, in the edit. So that was to do something as big as Only Fools and Horses, and to wait a year and a half to see it, and to even know if you're definitely in it was let's just say I was very patient on that one.
Did you have any other? Did you have a little bit more, or was what you mentioned before? That's all you knew you were doing. You hadn't done any more little scenes or any little lines or anything.
Well, that scene was slightly bigger.
Was it? Yeah.
I had a wife in that scene, which you don't see. So originally what happened was they follow Nicholas Lyndhurst into the delivery room. So the camera followed him in. So you had the internal shots, because obviously when you watch the episode, you only see David Jason and Nicholas Lyndhurst outside, don't you? And you hear, he's gone in.
Yeah.
And then you hear him say, "I'm sorry," and then I come out. But they were internal shots done originally, so they did actually come in and they did film. And I had a lady playing my wife, gripping my hand as he comes in. I'm looking at him as if to say, "What are you doing in here?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I kind of felt a bit on that Christmas Day when I sat down with my family. You got my nan saying, "I don't know if he's going to be on, do you?" I said, wait, I'm nervous enough as it is. It's a big deal sitting there with your family on Christmas Day, wondering if you're going to appear on Only Fools and Horses. But if she'd have done the same thing as me, she wasn't in it. She was edited out of the final cut. So that would have been, I think in her situation, if it was something she was looking forward to on Christmas Day like I was, that would have been quite devastating, I would have thought.
So in a way, you're sitting there Christmas Day. You're still not certain if you're going to be seen in the episode. You still, or do you know by then that you're actually going to be?
No, I didn't have a clue.
No, you still.
No.
Wow. So
it depends on. Certain films sometimes you might be a part of. You might go to a cast and crew screening, but being a series, it's not really something that happens because they're too busy filming and working on the episodes. But for me, it was just a case of finding out literally a year and a half later, am I going to be on there? Sometimes you might do a commercial, and you might know the producer, and you might say, look, is there any chance you can send me a copy of that? But it's not really something on Only Fools and Horses you want to be sort of chasing them and hassling them over a copy of your episode to see if you're in it. I thought, I'm just going to be patient. Am I going to be in it on the day? And luckily it was, yeah.
And then go on, Emily, sorry.
Sorry. Was you nervous to meet David and Nicholas and Tessa?
I don't think I was, to be honest. I don't think so. I don't know. I generally, it's funny, I get nervous about certain things, but other things I get excited about. So for me, do I get nervous about, I don't know, maybe a podcast or a Zoom meet? Yeah, sometimes a little bit anxious. Yeah. If you put me up on a live, sort of on a stage in front of a live audience, yeah, I could get nervous about that. But I think when I go on set and I'm meeting other actors, I'm quite comfortable on set, and especially around that time I was right in the thick of it. I was landing a lot of BBC roles and ITV roles, so for me I was crossing paths with a lot of people that were quite known back then as well. So for me it was just excited, I would say is the word. Yeah, excited.
I know I was lucky enough to meet Sir David the other year, and I was like a little child, I was starstruck beyond belief.
Didn't know what to say.
Didn't know what to say. No, amazing. No, unbelievable.
Why are we like that? Why is it that when we meet someone that we don't know how to speak to them, do we? We don't know what to say to them.
No, and they say don't meet your hero because they're not what you hope they're what you expect, but he was more than that. I was lucky. He was a terrific bloke as well. So that made my. Sometimes if I met him and he wasn't so nice, I'd be like, oh God, but he was more than I could have hoped for, really. Yeah, great.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'd love to meet him.
You'll have to.
Have you not met him? You haven't met him?
No.
Oh, are you going to the any of the conventions or anything?
I was going to, but one was too far away because I live in Lancashire, so he's in London and it's too far at the moment. But I'm hoping to go. If there's one next year, go to that one.
Yeah. He's at Milton Keynes, which is the one I'm going to I'm there on the Sunday the 16th, and he's there then. So it'd be funny to it'd be nice to cross paths with him again and say, oh, do you remember that scene? Yeah.
He will remember it. He will remember, though, won't he? A lot of the actors say that. They might have met him briefly, but he remembers. Yeah, sure he will.
Yeah, especially I think as well. It also depends on how much you actually watch stuff that you've been in as well. I suppose if it's played and played and played, it's easier to kind of remember it. There's a lot of actors I've worked with that over time I've remembered them, and if they've gone up and up and up the ladder, I've remembered them right back from when they were, just starting out when I was. But you don't kind of forget the stuff you've done together, which is really nice, to be fair.
And you said the 16th, it's 16th of March, isn't it? Saturday the 15th and Sunday the 16th of March.
Yeah, that's right. Milton Keynes. Yeah, so on the 16th.
Yeah.
So I'm up there on the Saturday night, staying overnight. Quite nice, really. They said, they got in touch with me. They said, you're up for being on board with us. We'll put you and your missus up in a deluxe room in the hotel. We'll look after both of you for the next day and food and everything else. So I thought, I can't say no to that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned Sir David's there, obviously. So Sue Holderness is there on the Sunday, isn't she, Marlene?
Yeah.
And I think Cassandra and Raquel are there as well, aren't they? And there's
That's right. Yeah.
I think Tony Angelino's there as well, isn't he, on the Sunday?
Yes. Yeah. I spoke to him today actually on
Did you?
WhatsApp. I messaged him today, and he said, I'll see you I'll see you in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, he's done a podcast with us. Yeah, there's Michael Fenton Stevens. He gets there sometimes. Alan off the holiday one. Escapes me. What is it called? The Unlucky Winner is. Yeah, that episode. Yeah, where they go when he wins the age 14 the painting competition. Yeah. What about your outfit then? We always ask people about their outfits. Was that your outfit, or did they give you an outfit to wear, costume for the show?
That was mine.
Was yours?
Yeah, that was mine. I think it might have been just a case of turn up in a bag, with a bag of clothes, and we'll just do something out of there. I can't remember how it went on the day, but yeah, they were my own clothes.
Did you keep them? Because that'll obviously have value, won't it? Straight away with the recognition of Fools and Horses.
Gosh, yeah, that's a point. No, I didn't. No.
Oh, didn't you? Oh, wow.
Did you keep the script?
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, that's a good point. I did keep the script though. I did keep the script.
Brilliant.
But I sold that a while back.
Oh.
But the thing is, I was originally going to keep it, and I thought I'm not selling it to anyone because I got offers. I got quite sort of high offers for, well, not high, we were high enough for about 500 quid. And I kept refusing and refusing. And then one day I thought, do you know what? I don't really need the script. I was in it. So for me, it doesn't get any better for me than being in it and watching your name on the credits at the end, you know, going up the screen. So for me, the script wasn't really something I needed. I didn't need to collect anything. I was in it, and that for me was a lot bigger than that to me personally. So yeah, so I sold the script in the end.
Yeah, you got memories of it, so
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I did think about running off a lot of copies of it, but
you should have done.
Get round to it.
Yeah, autographed it. Yeah. Things. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's a poignant episode, isn't it? Because I was thinking this, you must be, apart from the Trotters and the family, you must have been one of the last actors actually on the show, mustn't you, really?
Yeah, I would have thought so. And I think it's one of the last situations where Dill and Rodney have a bit of a bicker as well, isn't it? Because it was quite near the end of the episode as well. So yeah, in terms of them two bickering as they always do, that was one of their, I think that was one of their final moments of actually having a bicker. So it was great, you know, to be in one scene. But like, people have said to me, you know, when they've messaged me on Facebook, and had a guy yesterday, and he said, really looking forward to meeting you and Milton Keynes. He said, although you had the one scene, it was a brilliant scene. It was a really good scene. So yeah, it was great to be involved.
A lot of people that was only in it for like 5-10 minutes are actually still quite remembered, aren't they? Because we've had a few, haven't we? Like Shadow and Stan from Strange Relations that get recognised for being on the Fools.
Yeah, that's it. They can be small scenes, but it's only Fools. It's only, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than that in terms of British history comedy. That's at the top of the tree. So to play a role in that and the amount of people that follow it. And the funny thing is more people are getting to know me as an actor now because of Only Fools than 20 years ago when we shot it, because of obviously the power of social media and the events and everything else. So a lot of people know the scene, but a lot of people, if you mention the scene to them, a lot of people say, oh yeah, I know that scene. Okay, well, what's the name of the actor? Well, a lot of people wouldn't have known that a little while ago. Whereas now, through the power of social media, this podcast, the events I'm doing, a lot of people are now connecting the name of the actor to that scene, which for me is brilliant. All these years later.
I think I was like 4 or 5 when that episode was first aired. And when I Googled you, you're in quite a lot. And I didn't realise that it was you until I Googled it.
Yeah, there was quite a few different things I did there at around that sort of time. And and Only Fools was one of my smallest scenes, but obviously it was the biggest thing I've ever done.
Yep.
Emily's alluded to it. So I've looked at the office you were in, weren't you? So what role were you? Was it a delivery guy or something? Was it in that?
Well, what it was when I did the office, they were looking for, this is quite, but they were looking for an actor with a forklift truck license, which I had because I was previously working in the building industry before I came up to London. So yeah, they were looking for an actor with a forklift truck license, and originally my scene was with Martin Freeman, who plays Tim. So I got on quite well with Martin Freeman that day. You know, we had a bit of a chat, a bit of a laugh, obviously, before we were going for a take. And it was literally a scene where Martin Freeman's character, Tim, is bringing people from the office upstairs into the yard, into the warehouse. And it's just a really, really tiny scene where he comes over and says, right, I'm just going to speak to this guy and ask him what he's doing. So I'm on the forklift truck, pulling up the forks and everything else. And he said, oh, can I just ask you what you're doing? And I just look at him and say, well, I'm putting the paper up there. You know, I sort of look at him and just say, what's he asking me that for? Look around at the cameras, you know, with the office, it's a fly on the wall documentary. You break all the rules, you look at camera, that kind of thing. And they cut on that. And then Ash, the producer at the time, I knew him because I knew him just around the scene in the West End. I used to do a lot of security and run a lot of the West End clubs and stuff. He called me over and he said, that was great. It was a really good scene. And then Ricky Gervais came up and he said, oh, hi, I'm Ricky. Nice to meet you. He said, I said, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I thought, it's brilliant, this is. And he said, I just thought that was really good what you just did. I love the way you played that. So I said, great. Yeah, no, it was really, really good. So again, I was looking forward to that coming out, but it got cut right down to the point where all you saw was me on the forklift truck
Hmm.
pulling up the forks. So you didn't even see mine and Martin Freeman's scene. That was
Oh,
gone. So yeah, that was a real shame for me, because that's the kind of thing that you want to put on your show reel. That's the kind of thing you want to put in front of people and say, look, these are the people I'm working with.
Yeah.
So yeah, so unfortunately that didn't come out in the final edit, which was a shame.
but you still appeared. You still appeared.
Yeah.
I still appeared and I still got the
Yeah.
credit, so that was really good. It's still on IMDb, and yeah, that's good.
Mm. The other one that stuck out for me, Mean Machine. Is that Vinnie Jones? That one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had another I had a scene in that as well that got cut, which was really devastating, really.
Oh.
So yeah, so basically I got on board. I basically approached them off my own back. It was a friend of mine that put me forward for Snatch originally, and I had a small part in Snatch offered to me. It might have just been a gang member. I don't know. I don't know what the part would have been, but I didn't. I couldn't shoot it because I was working on something else. I had a sort of lead cast part in a student film, and I was kind of committed to that at the time. I wish I'd done Snatch though at the same time, because I went to the premiere of it as well in Leicester Square, which was amazing. I thought, God, I could have been in this.
Good film.
But yeah, so when Mean Machine came around, I kind of got in through my friend again. I actually phoned him up directly and said, look, you offered me a part in Snatch before. Have you got any parts going? And they said, okay, can you send us over a headshot? And they called me back and said, actually, yeah, we're interested. We'd like to just, if you're happy to do it, this is before I had an agent at the time. We'll put you in one of the main gangs. So I was in Mr. Sykes's gang, which was played by John Forgeman. Yeah, and we had lots of different bits and pieces where I'm kind of in the background, and you can see me if you zoom into the, you know, the screenshots of it, the stills, that kind of stuff. But there was one scene in a kitchen one day where Vinnie Jones is trying to get in with our gang. So he says, oh, Mr. Sykes, Mr. Sykes. And Andy, who played Ketch, said, oh, you speak when you're spoken to. Just because you're here with you. I won't repeat it, but it was quite a racist comment that was made. You know, it was done for the film, but and then as he tries to speak to John Forgeman, I then grab hold of him and I sort of rough him up a little bit. And when I watched it play back on the monitor, because it was Barry Skolnick that was directing that, we went round, watched it played back on the monitor. And when it got to the point of where I grabbed hold of Vinny, it was literally just me and him. And I thought, this is going to look awesome when it comes out on cinema. I'm going to love this. It's going to be brilliant. And of course, I went to the cast and crew screening. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the cast and crew screening, and I thought, right, here we go. Right, this is it. Right, here we come. The kitchen scenes are coming. So obviously I knew the storyline and where it was going. Right, here we go. Where's the kitchens? Hang on, where's the kitchen scenes? Oh no. And they cut all of the kitchen scenes they'd done that day. The whole lot was cut.
Oh God.
They cut the whole lot. So my scene with Vinnie Jones didn't exist. And then I had during the arm wrestle. Have you actually seen the film?
Yeah.
There's an arm wrestle, isn't there, with Vinnie Jones and Andy, who plays Ketch. So I was up on the bench with John Forgeman. So me and John Forgeman sitting next to each other. We're watching the arm wrestle, and I'm collecting bets. So as soon as and action, right, come on, get your bets in, lads. Right, come on, get your bets in. Come on, it's about to start. And I'm giving it all this. And I've got this cigar box I randomly found, and I was taking sort of pretend bets in and things. And then as we're watching the arm wrestle, John Forgeman's looked at me and said, how much is in there? And I pulled it out, and we've both sort of looked in the box. And he sort of smiled at me, and we've got up and we've walked off out. They cut that as well. So that got cut as well. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, the whole kind of me taking bets and getting the bets in, you know, I thought I'm going to kind of improvise here, and I'm going to, you know, make the most of my role.
Sell it.
I'm with John Forgeman. Let's go. Let's get some bets in. And that got cut as well. So yeah, that was gutted.
Oh yeah, I bet. Vinnie Jones leads me on nicely now. I was going to ask you, first of all, have you seen the musical at all? Only Fools and Horses musical? Because Vinnie's in it now, isn't he, in London?
He is in it, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to see it, but I do want to see it. It's the next one I want to see. I've had a couple of friends see it recently, absolutely loved it. And yeah, I'd like to see Vinnie Jones on stage, because I think, for me personally, I think any actor that can get on stage and perform in front of a live audience, that to me is impressive. I think that's brilliant, you know, because the thing is when you're on set, and I know that there's a little bit of a safety net. Not that I do, but you know that if you fuck up for any reason, if you mess up on your lines, you can cut and go again.
Yeah.
That's not something that happens to me very often because I'm really OCD about my line. It's got to be perfect. I'll know my lines inside out, and I'll know them for the rest of my life normally. But to go on stage, you know, there's the whole stage fright. There's everyone's watching. When you're on a team and you're on a set, there are people watching you, but they've all got their own job. You know, you're either operating the boom mic or the lav mics, or you're the DOP on the camera, or you're the director and you're watching it through the monitor. You know, so everybody that's watching the whole thing is playing their own sort of key role in it. You're working together as a team. Whereas when you're on stage, everyone that's watching is literally just watching. That's it. So I think so I'll take my hat off to him. I think that's brilliant. And any actor that does that, but it'd be great to see Vinny on stage, 100%. He's good. He's really good as well.
I'm genuinely surprised. I thought you might have going to say you've perhaps been asked or something. Was it something you'd be interested in doing?
I have been asked recently by a friend of mine, Peter Heffaway. He was lead cast in Green Grass. When that was out, he played Jed. And he literally said to me a couple of weeks ago, "Do you fancy doing Bouncers?" Because he was in the play Bouncers. I went to go and watch him years ago. And he runs his own sort of drama school, and you know, he's got his own sort of talent agency and everything else. So he asked me if I would do Bouncers, and he said, "Look, I'll train you into the role." And my answer was, "I'm not ready for stage yet. I don't know." The thing is, I think I'm a lot more passionate about TV and film, and I think your passion drives you through that pain barrier of feeling anxious and nervous, all that kind of stuff. You drive that, you push through that because it's what you want to do. So I feel for me, it might change one day, who knows? But in terms of stage, maybe I'm not passionate enough about it, because if I was, I would put myself through it to do it.
Yeah. But like you said, it's very different, isn't it? Being on stage where like loads of people, like the eyes are on you there, and if you mess up, you mess up.
Yeah, it's very different. I couldn't imagine anything worse than messing up in front of a live audience. God, I'd be absolutely crapping it, I think.
I used to be in the choir in school, and we did Beauty and the Beast, and I hated it. Like all the people staring at you. It was too much. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's it. It's quite overwhelming.
It is.
You just did lots of faces all just looking. You think, oh my God. Yeah, it does get really overwhelming. So I think, yeah, at the moment, at least, I'm going to stick to TV and film. But who knows? I might end up sort of branching out. I might push out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I might go down that road at some point. But it's nice to be offered. You know, you know, for him to offer me to do Bouncers and train me into the role. You know, he knows me as an actor. He knows what I'm capable of. So it's a good compliment as well.
It's nice for him to think about you for that role as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've watched him play it, and he was absolutely amazing. I don't know, have you ever seen Bouncers?
No,
I haven't.
It's the same kind of group. I think I can't remember how many guys it is. Is it 4 or 6? I can't remember, but they all play the Bouncers. They all play. So it's basically guys and girls going to a nightclub on a night out. So the same group of guys, the one sort of small cast that you've got, they play the Bouncers, they play the girls going out and the guys going out.
Oh,
so
wow.
They literally switch between bouncer, guy, girl, and they just keep switching, and it's incredible. It's amazing to see and how well it works, because you know you're in a nightclub and it goes back to sort of traditional days of, you know, the guy chatting up the girl and all the rest of it. And obviously it gets to the point where some of the guys have to be a girl, and while the other one's still a guy, and it's just the way they make the whole thing work.
wow.
I think
Does sound good.
It's brilliant. So you're kind of playing 3 different characters in that.
Takes a lot of skill to do that though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And to watch Pete when I did was just,
Yeah.
when he turned it on and he played a woman, it was just something else. I was so impressed. I just kept looking, thinking, look at Pete. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it was great. Incredible.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, like like tough guy one minute and then a lady the next. Yeah, wow. That's
it, because he can be exactly all those things. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Wow, yeah. Yeah. Did Sir David give you any advice, or Nick, anything with being experienced actors? Did they say anything that would stand you in good stead, really, for acting, or was your time with
No,
them
to be
quite
honest,
free?
no. I mean,
No.
we literally met on set, did our scene. I said hello to them, obviously.
Yeah.
They were polite and friendly. Because a few people have asked me the same question, what sort of conversations did you have on set? But because we met on set, it was literally right, we're going for a take, we need to get this in the bag, and then, they need to move on to whatever they're doing, whatever scene they're doing next. So they're very friendly, but also very professional because, it's a case of, let's get this scene in the bag. Okay, brilliant. Let's move on. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to him much about anything else. It was only really Tessa, Pete Jones, and obviously Benjamin that I spoke to the most.
Because with the episode, I think I'm right in saying, like, your scene you said was on, what would you call it, on location.
Yeah.
They would normally film the location scenes, I would have thought, wouldn't they? And then the flat and the pub, they'd film that on a night, I would have thought, would they? And then show your scene on screen, would they? In front of a live audience. Is that how it would work, or?
I'm not really sure. I mean, from my perspective, we turn up, we do a take. The director Tony Dow will watch it on a monitor. We'll have a couple of takes. He'll watch it, and he'll look at a take that he wants to play back, maybe, and he'll say, "Yep, that's it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's good. Let's move on." So I don't know if the main cast, I don't know if they get to see it, but I suppose they've probably, when they've, maybe not so much with the Christmas specials, but where they were running lots of episodes when they were doing a series, I suppose they probably wouldn't want to keep watching everything they've done. So I think, so I don't know how it works with the specials. I don't know if they got to see a cast and crew screening of those before it aired. But yeah, in terms of the actual episodes, whenever you work on a show, you probably wouldn't have time for everyone to watch everything they've done,
No.
They're a while.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Where would, because you've got quite a CV, where would Fools and Horses rank, do you think, in your career so far? Would it be up near the top, or?
It's got to be number one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It can't not be number one. It's only Fools and Horses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's one of my smaller roles in terms of acting I've actually done, but it's only Fools and Horses. It's got to be number one. I think it'd be quite hard pushed to get anything that's higher than that, really, especially on the kind of comedy side of things, and British sort of history. That's definitely number one. Yeah. It'd be hard to top that, I think. I mean, even with what's, the stuff that's coming out today, I mean, there's still brilliant comedy that's come out over the time since Only Fools and Horses. There's a lot of really big series that are taken off. There's some massive stuff on Netflix and all sorts of things. But yeah, to have a credit and being Only Fools and Horses is quite hard to beat that, I think.
Yeah, I think number one comedy of all time, the Christmas special of '96, when they did The Watch, it's still a TV record. I think 24.3 million. It'll never be beat now, Jay, will it? Because we watch telly very differently now, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we do. We sort of stream stuff and we think, well, let's just binge watch everything now. Let's just watch a series at a time.
Well, I hope the convention goes well and it's lovely jubbly. Thanks again, Jay. Cheers now. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. And thank you, Emily. And thanks very much for having me on the podcast. Take care. Bye-bye.
It was lovely to meet you.